Hello, everyone. It is Joe. Well, I'm very glad to be talking with you again today. Um, I've had another one of my crashes, which means being angry and depressed. Um, these can last for a day to tops. The last one I had was maybe about a day and a half. This one seems to have lasted about 18 hours. But it's where I get tired of playing the game and just want to stop for a while. Um, the last time I did this, I made a promise to myself to take weekends off from work because it had been triggered by work. Now, this time it was triggered by a relationship uh, that, you know, in which the two of us didn't want the same thing. And I got a little hurt, but it seems to have worn off pretty fast. So, anyway, I'm trying to be very honest with you guys. I know I give you an insight into my life here, camping in the woods. Heck, I've been living in the woods for almost 10 months, which has been quite a success. And I've done some things I didn't think were possible. And I'm moving ahead towards other things. Like I said, I've been single for a long time and not really looking, but I've started to date again. And just having a short relationship with somebody that didn't work out is a big success. Did I see that for the last 18 hours? No. I was hurt. I was trying to cover up the pain or escape from it. And, you know, the real thing is it's just about seeing my way through it, feeling my way through it. I knew when I went into it that I just needed to feel it completely, to feel my disappointment. For some reason, disappointment is the hardest emotion for me to feel. I don't know why, but it is one of the really big ones. Anyway, I just felt into my disappointment and felt it up as much as I could. Felt into my escapism as much as I could, and you know, got to the point where I was able to sleep. Sleep, as you know, for me is very healing, and still felt some of it when I woke up. Um, but now I have again the desire to go out there into the world and play the game and try to succeed, try to get what I want from life instead of giving up. And there is a strong give it up mechanism inside us. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how it's an evolutionary advantage for us to give up, in the short term or the long term. For me, these periods are short and spaced wider and wider apart. They seem to be getting shorter. Maybe I'm feeling them fully and getting through them and moving on faster. I uh, I hope so. I think that's the trick to all kinds of disappointment. You won't be disappointed if you don't try. If you don't invest yourself in something, you won't be disappointed. So first of all, just give yourself points for investing. Just give yourself points for getting into something, whether it's a business venture, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a new job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a lifestyle choice, whatever it is, whatever you're being brave and trying out. If it doesn't work out for you, okay, cool. See if you can just get over it in your own time. That means feeling it fully. You won't get over something that you're is trying to escape from. You're not going to get over a relationship by brooding over people that look the same as your ex. I know I've done that in years past. You're not going to get over something except by feeling it fully, by feeling your disappointment. Hmm. The bugs are coming on strong today. One thing that I did when I realized that this very nice little relationship I'd had for about a week and a half was coming to an end, um, because I just, wasn't getting what I wanted from it, and needed to cut it off before I got hurt anymore. Um, as they say, I caught feelings, and if the other person doesn't, the thing to do is to get going as quickly as possible. Don't just run away. I think it's healthy to, explain it to the person and give them a chance to reciprocate. But most of the time, when that kind of thing happens, you're just headed for the door. Um, I'm not sure what the best tactics are out there. Ladies, if a dude friend zones you, should you stick around him or should you just move on? Um, my advice is you should move on. Guys, if a lady friend zones you, should you stick around and be her friend? No, I don't think so. Um, I used to think it was a gender thing, but I know it happens to both genders. I just hope that you guys, um, when you do feel disappointment, whether it's the kind I'm feeling today or some other kind, any kind of setback, just not to give up because the thing is, I'm not going to say don't give up because then you'll succeed if you don't give up. I mean, that's kind of standard and silly advice. The thing is, you're not wired to give up. You're not wired to quit. We get overwhelmed and we pretend. I know I do. I pretend that I want to give up on relationships, on, being an entrepreneur, on living a better life than the one I was trained to live. Living in freedom and not the little box of wage slavery I was trained to live in and work in, coming up in the particular social strata that I did. Um, the funny thing is, we are wired not to give up. But we are wired to give up temporarily. We are wired that when we feel stress, when we feel emotional stress, disappointment from hoping for something or investing in something and not getting what we wanted, well, we feel bad. We don't get what we want, and our minds punish themselves. I don't know why this is. I don't know why we punish ourselves for simply trying and not getting what we wanted. That's how you get what you want, is you try, you don't get what you wanted, and then you fix it. If there's anything I've learned about marketing, which I've slowly been allowing into my heart, it's this. You try something, you measure the results, and then you try something else. Based on the successes of what you did and trying to remove the failures of what you did. Success and failure, they don't really exist. It's just, you go for something, you get close, you analyze, you go for something, you get a little closer, you analyze, you try, you analyze, you try, you get results, you analyze. That's all it is. And every time that you have the courage to try, you're going to get some kind of a result. I think the trick is when you try and you get kind of a good result. So you invest more, and then you invest more. You get another promising result. You invest a little more, and then you don't get what you wanted, and you say, oh gosh, I really invested all of this. Now I get to feel the disappointment of a bad investment. Our minds help us not make bad choices. Our minds are wired emotionally to avoid taking undue risks and making bad investments. Unfortunately, our minds evolved during a time when we lived in very small communities. If you know anything about small towns, everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's business. You got to be really careful with your reputation. In a big city, you don't, because there's a lot of people. Unless you get very well known in a big city and then there's a scandal or something, no one's going to know who you are for anything you screw up. So, many of us like to travel. Many of us like to live in cities. And I think that's because you get a chance. If you lived in a tribe and there was one person, roughly your age or your level of status in your tribe, it's a small group, there aren't that many people. Imagine you went to school and there were like 5 people in your graduating class, right? You know, heck, even that would be a pretty big tribe. Even if everybody lived to 50, that'd be 250 people. And they say most tribes get to about 150 before they split in two. Um, People don't know each other well enough. They're not connected well enough, so they split into, and follow two different leaders. Um, so, yeah, in a 150 person tribe, how many people are there your age? Now, yeah, a lot of people don't make it out of childhood, so most of the people are going to be older. But say everybody is from 10 to 40, right? That's 30 years. At 150 people, there's 5 people in your year. So, yeah, maybe my estimate was about right. Maybe my intuitive estimate of about 5 people in your graduating class is about right. So, the the top people uh, your age are going to hook up, relationship wise. Um, Now, yes, the age differences, are a little funny. Women typically go for guys, a few years older than them, taller, more accomplished, more proven guys. So even if you give that there's a few year gap between guys and girls in dating typically, um, that still doesn't matter because the 5 guys who are 21 years old are still competing for the you know 5 women who are 18 years old or whatever it is. So the point is, you only have 5 people, maybe a couple guys and a couple girls, um, you know, in each age group. So if say you're a lady and you're 18 and there's 3 dudes who are 21, you're trying desperately to get with one of them, you know, instead of getting with the younger guys your age who aren't as established and who haven't grown up a lot. At that age, actually, guys um, need to grow taller because the tallest guys tend to get the girls. So when guys hit that peak of whenever they get to their peak height and then kind of level off, that's their top time, I guess, um, of desirability. You know, it's that 18 to 21 time. It's that time when guys are, either in college or in the military or really putting their energy into a business that they've started or getting started with a career, whatever it is. And typically, women slightly younger than that go for them. So I find this fascinating. I don't know everything about evolutionary psychology, but I find it fascinating that we evolved in these little tribes. Now, these guys who are proving themselves, the women their age don't want them. The women their age already hooked up with guys, a few years ago. 21-year-old women hooked up with guys when they were 18 or whatever. And, they've got babies, they've got families. They're in a different world now. If these ages are even appropriate. To be honest, I'm probably putting these ages much older than they really were back in the day. Um, you know, in many cultures, people were considered to be fully grown men and women at, 13, 14, 15, those kind of ages, depending on the culture. But I'm using our culture's ages, just because it's appropriate. But the point is, yeah, you have this window of time to prove yourself and get an attractive mate. Um, if you're a female, you're trying to do everything you can to get an attractive guy, or a guy, you're trying to get a girl, vice versa. If you're a gay or lesbian person in a small tribe, I can't imagine what that was like because there isn't a big enough population for you to find very many other people with the similar interests. So, you're doing the best you can. Those are the tribes we grew up in. And I'm going on and on about this, and it's something that I find fascinating simply because I know that my mind is lying to me. I know that my mind is telling me things that aren't in my best interest. Um, Sometimes it tells me the truth. Like I was about to say earlier, when I got into this disappointment and I realized that this nice little, relationship that I had started with someone was going to stop being so nice. Um, when that happened, well, I saw it coming and I knew it and I said, okay, well, I'm going to go talk to new people. I'm glad for this experience. I'm grateful for it. I've learned from it. Let me go talk to other people. And I did. I probably talked to 4 or 5 attractive people yesterday. Good for me. I could have gone and done even more. I could have gone and tried to do something brave. Um, like maybe going to perform some music at a jam session. I thought about doing that but didn't do it. Instead, I came home and I was just really upset and, you know, beat up on myself for a while. Um, listened to some sad music, went to bed, and then I did eat. I did eat a couple times yesterday, and that does help. When I get upset, eating really does help. Don't do it too much. A lot of people eat their feelings, but I think that making sure you're not starving can help. One thing I do when I get upset is I won't eat for a while, then my body will be really mad at me, and that just makes things worse. So, yeah, I think I did pretty well compared to the last crash. It is a little hard to talk about, I like to present myself as a hero or this great traveler or this person who's having this wonderful life hacking experience and figuring out how to live well um, on not a lot of money and make a lot of money that I can save in the process. I want to present myself as that person because that's who I am. That's where I'm headed. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm envisioning. That's what I'm manifesting. But sometimes we still create disappointment in our lives. Sometimes we still create negativity. We judge ourselves over things that we shouldn't judge ourselves over. Yeah, if you lived in a tribe long, long ago, say you're a lady and then you did something and you screwed it up with a guy and this guy really doesn't like you and he instead, passed you over for somebody, maybe the year younger or whatever. He passed you over for a competitor because you did something he didn't like and you guys don't get along anymore. Maybe you're a guy and you um, really wanted somebody and you screwed it up with them. They rejected you. And now, they told their friends, and all the women in that age group, the three or four of them, all hate you because you hurt this woman's feelings or she hurt your feelings or things didn't work out or whatever it was. Now you guys are on the outs and she's turning her friends against you. That's a big deal. It's a big deal in a small community because your options are limited to either older women who are mostly all married with kids. You can try to poach one of them from an older guy, but that might be hard. Or maybe you've got to wait till some of the younger ones grow up and then try to prove yourself against all the guys that are coming up, young and strong warriors in the tribe. How are you going to prove yourself against them? You know, you don't have a mate yet. People are going to look at you funny. They're going to say, "Oh, what's wrong with that guy? He hasn't got a partner." You know, I guess he's not worth that much. So you really have to try. Maybe do some desperate stuff. Maybe go on some desperate, I don't know, raids of the next tribe over or all those things that we used to do. The trick is it puts people in a bad position when they have that bad experience, particularly guys. Women um, are all competing for the very best guys, um, but somehow manage to retain their value socially a little better, at least at a younger age. If a younger woman strikes out with a guy, that's a problem, but maybe his friend will like her, or maybe some other guy will like her. They do have a little more of an advantage when they're young of finding somebody and, hooking up. The thing for women is that as they get older, most societies don't value um, the rotundity of moms and the wisdom of grandmas as much as we should. I'm sure we have a lot to learn from those women, and I'm sure that the more of those women I have in my life, I'll learn more myself. Um, but yeah, our minds developed for these tribal cultures. Our minds punished us. Um, for guys, if they strike out with a woman, that can mean, you know, bad luck. They really need to find somebody else in a hurry. For women, they can feel terrible, not from striking out with a guy so much. They might feel terrible briefly and then move on to the next guy because, they're in a period of their life where they're the most attractive and they need to hurry up and use that to get a guy, the best one they can. Women feel awful, though, when they hook up with a guy and then he loses interest in them. If they hook up with a guy and then he doesn't stay the night or doesn't call the next day, that's the evolutionary equivalent of, back in the tribal times of a guy sleeping with a woman and then pretending he doesn't know her, of just blowing her off, of being cold and not taking responsibility for the children they might have just made. So, yeah, it's really powerful that our emotions grew up and evolved in this time, and our technology that allows us to have huge populations now hasn't caught up. Heck, society hasn't caught up with the idea of birth control and condoms and stuff like that yet. Um, Especially our conservative, religious American society. Some other societies have progressed further than us, and some not as fast as us. But, heck, we, as a species, need time to adjust because we're wired for these ancient, feelings that come up when they shouldn't. If you try something in your business and you fail, great. Figure out a next step and try that. And go fail at that. And go fail at the next thing. And go fail at the next thing. Keep trying and don't give up. That's how we succeed. Try something. Don't care whether it is a success or a failure. See what happens. Get some data. Learn something. And try again. Try something. Get some data. And try again. That's all you do. Iterate and optimize, as they say. I think that's the name of a book by the self-publishing podcast guys. Sean, Johnny, and Dave. Three very inspiring fellows that I learned from early on in my podcast days when I thought I might do some writing for a living. I decided not to go the self-publishing route, though I do write for a living. Heck, I just got a new job today, so that's exciting. But yeah, remember when you're upset just to go through the emotions. They're stupid emotions. They're not necessarily relevant to to the severity of what you're doing. If you make a mistake, you might feel way worse for it than you really need to. You don't want to do it again. If you feel a little bad, you won't do it again. But you don't need the intense self-punishment that comes wired into humans for relationships, for jobs, for anything that involves status. We use status to get food and water and shelter and all the things that we need. We also use status to attract mates. And anything that involves status, of course, money and your social standing and anything that you're trying to do to improve yourself. I mean, that's what self-improvement is, really. You're trying to get yourself to another level of status. Now, some people might meditate for self-improvement so that they can accept the status that they have and feel better about it and feel less inclined to compete and move up. Yeah, that's a thing too. But that's almost the same deal. You're still choosing to do something so that you will feel better. And we as humans feel better when we feel high status within our group, when we feel a valued member of our group. That makes us feel really, really good. We're pack animals. We're tribal peoples. Our evolution has not caught up with our technology, and it looks like it never will. We have to do this consciously. We have to do this through educating ourselves and each other. We have to do it through resetting our minds. We have to do it through not taking so seriously the emotions that we feel. Recognizing them, saying, oh, if I do this, it makes me feel bad. I think I'll do something else. Great, do that. That's wonderful. Don't do the same thing over and over and over again. But, don't judge the process. Don't feel bad when something doesn't work out. And that actually has a lot to do with hope. I honestly feel that faith is way better than hope. Faith is that I will eventually get everything I want. I will be a valued member of a group. I will be loved and cherished by the people that I love and cherish. My love will be reciprocated. The things I offer to the world, the work that I do will be valued, all that kind of stuff. But the trick is, faith is better than hope. Hope is this. Hope is, oh my gosh, I've tried so many times and I really hope this is the time. I really believe in hope. This is the time. I'm trying to convince myself that this time it'll happen, because if it doesn't happen this time, oh my God, is all that trying really worth it? Maybe I just shouldn't have tried and not wasted any energy, and maybe I should have just stayed where I was. unhappy but not trying, and conserved that energy. Maybe that attitude is a survival thing. Maybe there is a thing where you don't try for mates and you don't go out on the warpath and you don't do whatever you do in your tribe or in your society. You don't try to bang the rocks together and create fire. You just give up. Maybe that's a survival instinct that when we get low enough that we should take a break and, just conserve our energy. Women's reproductive cycles will turn off when they get stressed out enough. If you're at a bad time, if you're having a bad time just trying to survive, it's not a good time to have a baby. If you're skinny and starving, don't have a kid, figure out how to, survive and get some food and then have a kid. So your body knows that. So maybe there's the idea that you should just try to survive for a while and not try to move ahead, not try to move up. Just try to stay where you are. Don't try to move up in society. Don't try to get ahead. Just try to find something safe, even if you have to submit to others. Let them get the better of all the deals. Go collect berries with someone and they steal most of them, and you get a few. Maybe that's better than none. Whatever it is. We have this stuff programmed into us. And when I crash, when I feel like, oh, I should just give up, that doesn't last very long. What I really want you to know is that however long your crashes are, whether they're a minute, a second, a year, a decade, I don't know, however long they are, we bounce back. We're made to bounce back. Eventually, our mind says, well, heck, I'm going to go ahead and succeed anyway, or at least I'm going to try, because the alternative is nothing. The alternative is just sitting here, in this, safe place where, I'm like a low status member of the tribe, or everybody's getting the better of the deal, or I go off and hunt the bison with people, but I don't get credit for it, so no mates want to be with me. I have to confront the other guys and tell them to give me credit, or whatever it is. At some point, it's wired into us to bounce back, just like it is to take a break. So when you do feel sad, feel angry, find something to do with that energy. I find that energy just comes up in my body and takes me over. I did do some very fast bicycle riding. I did pour a bunch of that into cycling yesterday. Maybe not enough. Maybe I could have cycled more, and that would have really given me more release instead of beating myself up emotionally and physically, being hard on myself, all the stuff that I do typically when I get sad. So maybe, just maybe, I can feel better the next time I crash. Instead of hope, I'm going to have faith. Not hope that this is the last time I crash, not hope that everything is going to work out for me from now on. Hope is that idea that it better work this time, because if it doesn't, I don't know if I can stand it. That's not a good emotion. Hope is what kept me, in the friend zone with someone longer than I knew I should. Heck, a week and a half in the friend zone with somebody isn't that bad, compared to some of my previous experiences and probably some of yours. But it's something we need to avoid altogether. It's something painful and, just one way to give away our power that we should just avoid. So, what I really hope we can do, all of us, is have faith that the next time we crash, we'll be better at crashing. We won't do it as hard. We'll figure out ways to put that energy into other things when we get disappointed. That we're willing to go out there and try again, and we're willing to be disappointed. We're willing to go out there and fail and feel that hit of disappointment that our mind and body gives us. And remember that in today's world, ignoring disappointment and just trying again as soon as possible is the very, very best thing we can do. Like I said, with this little social crash I had, I did go and I talked to a bunch of people that I was attracted to, and I'm going to do some more of that today. I'm also going to dig in more on my job, especially, old work that's popped up, as well as some stuff on the new income stream. And I'm just going to keep being me. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. I'm not going to make any dramatic changes to my lifestyle or my plan or whatever. I'm not going to bike to the next town because I'm mad because somebody didn't like me. I'm going to stay here for a few more days and just enjoy the town. Who knows? Maybe I'll meet another person in this same town. Or maybe I'll just get a bunch of reference experiences from going up and talking to a bunch of new people. Who knows what's going to happen? It's a gamble. But when you're sad, when you're angry, when you're crashing, when you feel like things aren't going to work out, just remember that you're going to wake up someday, whether it's the next morning, whether it's the next afternoon, like it is for me, maybe it's a week from now. But whatever feels really bad for you, remember, you will wake up and just want to be yourself. You will wake up and want to just keep going down that path that you were walking down because you know yourself. It's a good path. You just know that you're going to stumble sometimes. You know you're going to be disappointed. You know you're going to be upset. You know you're going to be crashing. I know those things are going to happen again to me, and I know that I'm going to handle them better and better and better. I know that they're just a part of the humans that we are. You know, the creatures, the half-evolved, civilized creatures that we are, you know. In another, few 100,000 years or millions of years, evolution will continue, will change, but for now, we are creatures with the technology to far surpass the environment that we grew up in. And we've created these very strange, exaggerated environments for ourselves, where maybe food is very accessible, but mates aren't. Or for some of us, maybe mates are very accessible, but we starve ourselves to look good. For some of us, inherit great wealth and don't know how to make more of it, Some of us start with absolutely nothing. Some of us are beat down by life in all kinds of different ways. We have all these different starting points and all these different lives. And there are so many of us. Just remember that what you're feeling is valid. Go ahead and feel it fully so you can let go of it, so you can bounce back. I'm happy at how quickly I've bounced back. But just understand that, this is my mind punishing me for what it thinks is a really bad mistake that it doesn't want me to make again. Now, I know it's not a mistake. I know that in this world, what I did was a success, even though my mind thinks it's failure. And we have to use our conscious minds to reframe these things, as I'm doing now in this video, reframe what our emotional minds think are failures as successes. Because every time we try to do something, every time we put ourselves out there, we gain. Unless we do it so much we hit overwhelm. That's when we don't feel these things fully, and we just keep trying and building up these emotions until they really hit us hard. To be honest, maybe that's why my crashes hit me hard. Maybe when I crash, I'm triggering old disappointments, old feelings that I bottled up and never actually resolved. I hope so. I hope that what I felt, recently, in the last 18 hours or so, has triggered some old emotions and got those out of me too, Maybe that feeling of disappointment, the more that we can engage with it, can help clear out old stuff that gets triggered, not just the current one. It's not just like, oh, I failed with this person, I suck. It's like, I failed with this person and I failed with so many other people, so I suck. We draw the past into it. Oh, this business venture didn't work and I haven't succeeded at all these other business ventures, I suck. I should just go, get a basic job or a retail job, right? Some basic, really secure, really boring job that nobody wants to do, push a mop or something, and then everybody will be nice to me because I'm, taking this crappy job nobody wants, and they'll give, at least give me lip service as we do to the working class. Everybody will accept me because I've accepted this low status role. There's a voice that tells us to do that crap. And the trick is to just stay on your path. Accept when you're going to get disappointed. Understand that this probably won't be the last crash for you. I know it won't be for me. I'm getting better at them. I'm getting more self-aware about them. But instead of pretending they don't exist, or just saying that they're never going to happen again, go into the next step of your life consciously. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try again, and I know I'm going to get disappointed again. And I know I'm going to learn how to deal with disappointment better and better. I know disappointment's going to trigger old emotions that I can let go of, so that every time I do this, I get a little better. I can let go of more and more old emotions. As I'm processing the current ones, I'm also processing past ones. So hopefully, over time, not even hopefully, I don't like that word anymore. I like faithfully. Faithfully, over time, we accept the ups and downs as we go through a world that we are not genetically equipped for. We use our minds on themselves. We use our minds to condition our minds. We teach ourselves something new because that's the special thing about humans. We're not just genetically wired to do one thing. Like some fish are genetically wired to eat a certain plant and run away from a certain predator, a certain shark that has a certain silhouette or something. We don't have that. We have the ability to learn and adapt. That's what made our species succeed over all the other ones with pointier teeth and better eyesight and greater strength and all the rest. So, allow yourself to adapt. Allow yourself to feel the negative feelings that sometimes come up when we try, don't get what we want, feel disappointed, and have to reset. Maybe that's what I'll start calling these periods. Instead of crashes, I'll just call them resets. These times where I just disconnect from the world and from ambition and simply indulge in that idea of escapism or just giving up briefly. Maybe that's what they are. Maybe they're just reset periods where my body and mind just says, don't do anything, don't plan on doing anything, don't worry about anything, don't do any work, don't try, just heal. I don't know. Maybe that's healthy. I certainly want to limit those times and make them less frequent and less intense and less of shorter duration. But I don't know. Try to love those times too. Try to love them just as much as I do the times of trying and ambition and the times of success. Try to love your entire life. So, heck, this is a big rant. This is a really long video, and I hope I can get it all uploaded today. But I have faith that I will get it uploaded regardless of how long it takes. How about that? Faith beats hope. That's my message. I hope that you all will check me out at joeneely.net/community and find all the different ways you can connect with me and with each other. I love you all very, very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.